Hi everyone, I'm Jeslan. Welcome and thank you for watching my Capstone project.
I am a Sri Lankan Tamil. I migrated to Canada as a refugee due to the country's political instability. I gained my BSc in Math in Sri Lanka. Then in Canada, I finished BA Psychology at York University. At one point, I recognized that I spent most of my time in social work activities. Then I decided to continue my study in social work. Before I continue my presentation, I like to introduce my artifact video. Please tune in.
I have been working as a mental health clinician at Mount Sinai Hospital Assertive Community Treatment Team, called as ACT Team, since the year 2000. I did my placement at the Sherborne Health Center. I have gained more knowledge about disadvantaged refugee immigrant population and their barriers and struggle for discrimination and oppression. Vasantham, a Tamil Seniors Wellness Center, is another organization where I volunteer as a chairperson. Though we mainly focus Tamil seniors, still we also provide many services to adults who have mental illness and addiction problems. I have invested significant time with my community activities as my community have been going through structural oppression for several decades. After the 2009 Tamil genocide, Tamil diasporas created a global organization, Transnational Government of Tamilam, called as TGTE, to fulfill the Sri Lankan Tamils' political aspirations. I have been volunteering with them as a Toronto office coordinator for several years and do several human rights activities through this organization. I have started this organization, Tamil Group for Tamil Empowerment, with the like minded Tamil community members to support the Tamil refugees. The purpose of this organization is building the Tamil community's solidarity and empowerment. Through this organization, I developed a few projects to help diaspora refugees who have been displaced in Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. I have been doing social work even before I heard about social workers' code of ethics. However, I also recognize practicing social work with the knowledge of the code of ethics is immensely different. Now I frequently reflect my social work practices with an appropriate code of ethics, so I feel more confident in my practice and I am well grounded with the code of ethics guidelines. In my work as well as placement, I practice recovery model. In every program, we give more importance to our service users' needs and try to use their strength to overcome their mental health and addiction challenges. In my placement, I was able to run a group for socially isolated men, and the group always enjoyed the program since the placement agency had more focus on the recovery model. I like to post this definition of recovery as it is my new exciting learning, which helps me a lot to understand what exact recovery is. As a mental health clinician, this framework assists me a lot and enhance my clinical activities more meaningful. I have been involved in knowledge mobilization through research, presentations, dialogues, dissemination seminars, panel discussions, even before I learned about knowledge mobilization in my MSW program. However, after the learning, I have initiated several activities with more commitment. Now I understand the purpose of those activities as well. During my knowledge mobilization learning, I found many applications to practice and my development as a professional. One fundamental idea for me was gaining an appreciation for the depth and network of relationship that form a central part of the knowledge mobilization experience. In my work in community mental health, there are many interconnecting players. I found the knitting metaphor to be a powerful way to conceptualize what the communication process looks like in knowledge mobilization. I am more keenly aware of what it requires to build any sustain a strong communication network to facilitate not just information flow but rich learning and understanding among diverse professional disciplines. Another strong learning point for me was understanding the significant role of knowledge mobilization in connecting research with the practice setting. My agency has spearheaded a number of research over the years in the field of mental health, specifically related to ethno-racial assertive community treatment team model. The course provided efficient tools to utilize in developing and implementing knowledge translation strategies. In order for research to be more impactful, I understand that service recipient must be able to benefit from its findings. Often this is not the case. The knowledge mobilization concept reinforces the collaborative and reciprocal nature of the research process. The communication of knowledge must be accessible with far reaching relevance. As a social work professional who may be engaged in research at some point, my goal is to ensure that any research I participate in is inclusively developed and disseminated. This means finding innovative ways to collaborate, communicate, and share in the learning process. Recently, I have initiated a collaboration with a few other organizations to have a conference in Ottawa about Canada's role in Tamil refugees. We also wanted to invite politicians and policymakers in addition to refugee experts. We will have this conference tentatively by February 2020. I am quite passionate about learning about many areas of my MSW journey. As I participate the ethno-racial environment, I always critical about cultural competence and I appreciate our ACT model where we give more focus on ethnic matching between the clinician and the clients. I still quite concerned about the cultural competence model and like to explore more. In my view, it doesn't fit to the recovery model or patient directed practice. It is convenient for the agencies and clinicians, rather, it should be beneficial to the clients. In all my work settings, I have found that my integrity highlights my professional identity. For example, while I am working with my clients, I am responsible and make sure my actions are ethical. I try to give a clear explanation of why I choose a specific option. I also give my honest opinion without hurting the listener. The integrity also allows me to keep a good, trustworthy relationship with my clients. I also saw the same in another volunteer setting. In that setting, I was insisted by other board of directors to take the treasurer position. Even in my volunteering environments, adopting the same social work values become beneficial and other team members identify our professionalism. In my ACT team, we encounter numerous ethical dilemmas in our interprofessional team meetings. At times, we also invite our hospital ethicists to get proper guidance. I am glad I got ample work experience, and now through my MSW education, I learned that information and organizing my thoughts for my future professional development. In many practice environments, I have been able to adapt my leadership knowledge and theories what I have learned in my MSW. My favorable leadership model is a visionary leader with transformational skills. I have been privileged to lead two different organizations. One is more health focused and the other more human rights and social justice. While I have been practicing as a social work leader, it is also significant to note my MSW learning about leadership and emotional intelligence. The role of emotional intelligence plays an important role in our leadership. There are circumstances we should be very skillful to perceive our patient's emotions and able to handle challenging situations. In many circumstances, I have encountered challenges in handling my emotions as well as others. In leadership and supervisory environment, we always provoked by others or others provoked by our comments. We must become aware of our emotions and others' emotions. It is also crucial that we learn and practice to regulate our emotions. Empathy is a critical component of emotional intelligence. When a leader is sensitive to our group, then we become successful in our mission as well. As a social worker, understanding a person in a holistic perspective and using our strength based approach are vital skill for any leader. We are holistic and we try to examine all social factors as a person's life of a person's life rather than focusing on one issue. We also focus on our communication skills, interpersonal skills, understanding behaviors, timing of our behaviors. We question ourselves, is this the right time to say something? Is this the appropriate method to talk now? Sri Lankan Tamils have been oppressed in the country in many ways, and in April and May 2009, Sri Lankan has killed more than 40,000 civilians, including children and seniors. Diaspora Tamils in many countries fight against these atrocities in many ways. I have been volunteering as a local leader for a global organization, TGTE. TGT works against the Sri Lankan government's oppression through several means. I initiate many Toronto based activism regularly. The significant activities I have mobilized with the local groups are Million Signature Campaign, War Crime Evidence Collection, meeting Canadian politicians and do advocacy for Tamil justice. There is strong evidence that the Sri Lankan government did genocide in 2009. Our activities don't stop with disruptions and disobedience. We also focus more on influencing policymakers and politicians. For example, the Tamil community protested in many ways to stop the genocide in May 2009. We also blocked the Gardner Expressway Toronto to bring mainstream media attention. Unfortunately, the Canadian Harper led government was not supportive of the diaspora Tamils. After 10 years of advocacy, now the Canadian federal government passed a resolution that United Nations to take serious action to implement an international investigation for the genocide happened in 2009. So, though the oppressor continues their structural oppression, still we are fighting in many ways and give more importance in advocacy and knowledge mobilization with international governments, UN representatives, and other political leaders and politicians. The challenge is we are not only working against the oppressor, but also we are in the stage of internalized oppression. This internalized oppression makes our Tamil community disintegrate from our Tamil identity. Many Tamil people feel like it is a shame to say they are Tamil. They feel ashamed to follow Tamil culture. This helps the oppressor's intention to reduce the Tamil population in Sri Lanka. The majority of the community members point blankly says they don't want to get into any politics. It is sad they don't recognize there is no politics free issue. I am glad through my anti-oppressive learning be able to identify the depoliticization. The understanding of this internalized oppression made my organization to think about few knowledge mobilization strategies. I have made an effort to create a regular study group where we able to share our scholarly learning connected to the majority of the group members' interest. For example, study about internalized oppression, the impacts of depoliticization, history of Tamil, etc. Regarding my future in professional social work, I like to explore more about political social work, which could be helpful to my community. I want to be more involved in more knowledge mobilization where policymakers and politicians meet, for example, United Nations or Ottawa government.